Hey guys, this is Ryan, Rigs of Death Metal. Today my guest is Pavel of RUF Guitars. Probably butchered everything.
No, you nailed it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were trying to convince people since we're a Polish company, it's RUF, not RUF.
okay,
It's a different pronunciation, so you nailed it. It's perfect.
killer. I'm always a stickler for trying to pronunciate things, and most of the time I feel like I just sound stupid. So great.
Uh, you know, it's like for me, it's basically the same because we Polish people have strong accent. Like all Eastern nations have strong accents when they speak English. So you immediately know that someone's not American.
Well, uh, Pavel here is going to be giving us a tour of the RUF Guitars factory. Um, which, to my understanding, if anybody who is curious to purchase one, they could be getting this same service, a little bit of a virtual tour to maybe help decide on their investment. Because obviously, these aren't cheap guitars by any means. However, everything that considered going into making these, especially the base point, which what for the I can't I apologize, I can't remember the price tier names, but the base like starting point for your models, which either come in like yellow or carbon, for the Schrodinger or Vinci models, they start at just over 2 grand, correct?
Yes, that's basically correct.
Okay.
So this series you're mentioning is Master Series. This is our entry series, and unlike other companies, we don't outsource it. So basically, when you order an entry level guitar from us, I know it's not cheap guitar though, but when you order an entry level guitar here, you're receiving the basically same bass of the instrument, and it's done by the same people who are producing Doctor and Professor series, the higher series of our guitars. So it's the same fretwork, it's the same people, it's the same material. It's just a matter of options you can have in your guitar. So it's like more limited options because in Master Series you have like fixed set of pickups, which is Sentient Nazgul by Seymour Duncan. You have fixed hip shot bridge, hip shot tuners, and as you've mentioned, two color combos, which is yellow or carbon with this black burst around it, and white hexagonal inlays on the front board, and of course, obviously, the green luminlays on the sides. The luminlay is always a standard, so we don't try to cheap out on this part.
Yeah.
So it's mostly about limitations. Like you're limited to some ideas, but everything's the same. And today I would like to show you around the facility, and I'm gonna explain anything you want to know about producing guitars that are made out of carbon fiber instead of wood. Shall we begin?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So I'm gonna switch my camera to the front, so it's gonna be easier to explain stuff to you. Um, the first room here is basically a laminating room. Uh, Maybe I've started from the wrong side. I'm gonna show you something different, but we're gonna be back. Yeah, I do that all the time because we keep different stuff in different parts of the factory. So I'm gonna show you where the guitars actually starting to be guitars. Uh, so this material here, we use it to create a positive mold. So we basically mill two parts of a guitar, front and back, using one of those. This is some sort of really hard foam, if I'm correct. And this is something we receive after processing it on CNC. This is our Vinci shape, which is, I guess this is a 7-string Vinci. And that's our newest addition, Euler, which is a spin-off from the classical Explorer shape with this tiny motor twist and obviously reversed headstock. This is also standard thing. We don't do like standard weight headstocks. So the positive mold here is used only once for creating the negative mold. And negative mold is something that we do to create every guitar that's gonna be coming out of it. So every shape has one mold, and it's always the same shape, the same size, the same idea. They are all coming from the same mold. So then we're gonna be back in the first room I wanted to show you, and I'm gonna explain you how it works. So basically, this is the negative mold. Those molds are made out of carbon fiber. They don't have to be pretty. We use obviously huge amount of carbon fiber, but the technology of creating the mold is basically the same as creating the outer shell of a guitar, which I'm going to explain to you later. Um, how it's working? It works like this. We put layer by layer on top of the mold, the positive mold. Then we close it with the plastic bag, which is sealing bag for vacuum. And then we're using an infusion process with the use of vacuum, obviously. We remove all the air from the mold, and we apply epoxy resin to it. So this is how the mold created, and it's the exact same process for creating the guitar. This is the back piece. As you can see, there's like a neck heel, the entire neck, back of the headstock, and the back of the guitar. And then we obviously have the front piece as well, which is the rest of the guitar. So we have few different methods of approaching laminating the guitar, which is number one, carbon fiber, obviously. This is not only for decoration, so it's always there, but it's like the most simple solution. The most classy solution is the beauty of carbon fiber is coming from the different grains crossing each other, so they give you this deep shine. It's something that you can see on the automotive parts like F1 or whatever. They use carbon fiber a lot because it's lightweight and super durable at the same time. It's hard to break. It's easier to crack. It's always depending on the amount of layers you're gonna do. So this layer is going as a first layer, and when we take the guitar out, it's basically the outer layer of the instrument, right? But that's number one. We can laminate anything that can be soaked. So as you can probably imagine, we can do fabrics. We have plenty of different fabric colors. We have a lot of stock ideas. We can print whatever you like. We can print your photo. We can print your graphics. We can print your band's album cover. So we have great printing company. This is some sort of fabric that accepts a lot of details to it, as you can maybe see or not. It's pretty great detailed, and it's some sort of velvet. So it's a thick layer. But on the other hand, if we're gonna do thin layer, the detail is gonna be blurry. They're gonna be the carbon fibers from underneath. It's gonna be poking through it. So we have to put like a proper amount of layers to achieve a deep color. And I'm gonna show you the laminated guitars later. Number three is something that's pretty unrealistic when we are talking about carbon fiber guitars, because we can laminate wood to it. It's not gonna be like a thick layer of wood, like not Les Paul carved top, but we can do this sort of stuff, which is basically a veneer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have wide variety of veneers available. We have flame maples, we have poplars, and well, whatever you can think of, we can probably get it, or we probably have it in stock anyway. This is something pretty unusual when it comes down to the guitar building industry, because we are doing like a full carbon fiber guitar, right? Why would we add wood to that? The answer is pretty simple. There's so much beauty in the wood that we are removing from the guitar when we're not doing the wooden ones, right? So adding this super thin layer of veneer is just giving us the best that woods gives, like the color, the texture, the shine, everything beautiful from the wood is in here. It's laminated under the thin layer of resin, and then it's also filled up with carbon fiber, so it gives us the proper structure, the proper amount of layers and stuff. Uh, and also, I'm gonna show you a few of those guitars in a minute. And there's a fourth method we can do. We can use the amount of stuff we are getting from, like, overcuts from the carbon fiber is insane. So we came up with the idea of doing forged carbon, which is, I need to find the stuff. Okay, there it is. So we have we call it forged carbon, which is basically a super thin cut from the every overcut of carbon fiber we have. We collect it, and then we can use it as a powder on top of the instrument,
Hmm.
and we can mix it with whatever you like. So we can add uh, some sparkle to it, for example. Like, we can always stick something like this, and we can mix it with forged carbon, and then we're gonna receive something pretty more unusual. For example, this is a guitar for one of our customers, and this is forged carbon mixed with some shiny materials that gives us uh, the beauty of paint job without even applying a final layer of clear coat, which is gonna be applied to the guitar anyway. But it gives us a lot of cool options that are pretty much impossible without having them laminated. Uh, since we are here, you've seen the guitar that's been carved out. Those are the layers of guitar. We call it front and back. We say that they are halves, but they are obviously not, because this one is way deeper. We end up with something like this. There is always some stuff around it that has to be cut. That's why we use CNCs. And then we can attach both pieces together. We put them together. We glue the seam, so it's completely proof of like any leakage or whatever. And we take it to uh, the filling station. That's not the cleanest thing that we do, but we have like a huge bucket of this white stuff. We call it rophane. Rophane is a mixture of resin and some fillers that we apply to the guitars. So it gives us this white, for now it's sticky, but it's gonna be rock solid when it's cured. It gives us the super thick layer of rophane, obviously, and it gives the guitar the proper tonal quality and also the mechanical value. So those guitars are really hard to break. When they are filled, they are close to impossible. If you're seeing the
Hmm.
video from NAM show, you will probably have seen this instrument.
Yes.
It's Yeah, so it's beat up, right? Uh, it's out of any hardware or pickups right now, because we're gonna paint over it, and we're gonna send it to the guy who won it from our competition. But, well, I mean, everyone's everyone, right? So I wanted to put it on your channel as well. So this is stuff you can't really do to any normal guitar. There are some people who are saying that if they wanna try to break it, they're gonna break it. I mean, uh, obviously, uh, you can break titanium, you can break steel beams, you can break whatever you like. It's not the matter of the force you're gonna use. It's the matter of the force you're gonna use when you break your guitar, like when you drop it. Uh, it's not gonna break. The finish gonna crack. It's gonna chip. Uh, but the fretboard's intact, the headstock's fine, and the structure's fine, and this instrument is still fully functional and playable. So um, I'd focus on that. Like, this is something superior to an instrument that you can't really break it in any normal environment, right? So mm, uh, we have the guitar that's been milled. That it was processed on the CNC. I'm gonna show you the CNCs. It's nothing spectacular though, but it's always something cool to show to people, because we have like two huge CNC machines. They are basically working 24/7. Just kidding, because we work like a regular 8 hour day. But those are the most important machines here, because they are responsible for most detailed work. Like for this particular case, we are using Grislight to create small dampers for the threads behind the knot. Uh, they are pretty important when you have a reverse headstock, because reverse headstock is always giving you this noise from behind the nuts. So we try to dump it with some sort of um, contraptions we are creating. I'm gonna show it to you later too. And then there's a huge variety of instruments that were pre-created and they're gonna be sold to customers when they are interested in them. Like for examples, we don't have to apply swirl paints. We can just print them,
Huh.
laminate them into a guitar, and they are done. You want a Jimi Hendrix style Stratocaster? Here you are, baby. We can do it for you. You want something funny? Bum. We have ducks.
Hmm.
You're a diehard of death metal? We have zombies. Whatever. Like, I like kindergarten Satanism, so that's cool for me. Um, but also the wooden tops we've mentioned. For example, we have like an ash top that was pre-stained green prior to lamination. And when we apply like clear coat of high gloss paint to it, it's gonna pop out like crazy. The hardest part of showing the guitars to people is not sounding like a salesman because I'm really, really crazy about what we do. And obviously, we can do whatever you like. We can create whatever you like. We almost never say no to any customer's ideas. You can't hear it because I'm on noise canceling, but it's super loud in there, so I have to leave this room immediately. But then there's entire production that's almost the exact same way as for the regular wooden guitars. We fix the paint job here. We use fret wire for this is Jescar 57 110 fret wire, which is like 2.5 millimeter. This is some sort of jumbo or extra jumbo fret wire. This is the standard option. We have Evo Golds in the same size that are not in production anymore, so you can't get it. That's why we have them super expensive now. Uh, then we have the guitars that we are like in the middle of fixing. For example, this one has been milled, have the fretboard glued, and it's waiting for a clear coat of base paint. We prime it with clear coat, so um, yeah, we prime it with clear coat, so we can paint it with clear coat later. That's why we don't want to hide the beauty of carbon fiber in any way. And obviously, we have all a range of colors that we can do on the guitars. Well, like you want white, we're gonna do it white. If you want green with sparkle, we're gonna do green with sparkle. You want a crazy purple, we're gonna do crazy purple. There's absolutely no limitations to paint jobs. There's no limitations to the designs. The only thing we don't do, we don't create custom shapes for people because it would be too expensive with this process. But all in all, there is absolutely no limits to it. So whoever's interested in ordering one, as you mentioned in the beginning of our meeting, we can arrange some sort of meeting like this one. This is more like a factory tour slash interview, but we can arrange the meeting for anyone that's interested, and we can walk them around. We can explain them process. We can answer all their questions, and we can provide informations that are necessary to create their dream guitar. So if anybody's interested, just reach us out. We're gonna arrange a video call. It does not obligate you to order a guitar. We can just walk you around. We can show you the factory, and we can explain how the things work. And that's basically it. We can go back to our showroom. So I'm gonna show you some guitars that were already assembled and are ready to be sold. And there's still a lot of things that can be said, done, or finished. Yeah, so some sick camos, palm leaves, AI bullshit, relic jobs, space cheetah. I've designed this inlay that was like a cheetah with a space suit on it. And well, that's basically it. We have the wall of shame, the glory wall, and there's a lot of people like those Polaroids are people who are visiting our facility, all cool people or famous musicians, anybody that's like a colorful person on the instrumental map of the world. We try to catch all these moments. We also take pictures when we are going to like exhibitions and stuff. We got Dawson here, Glenn Freaker, our great friend, Rob Chapman, and like we try to connect with every other person in the world who can be an inspiration to us.
That's awesome.
And that's basically it. Uh, I give the voice to you. Do you have any questions?
Sure. Where to start? Um, God. So yeah, there were some things that I guess I probably me and a lot of other people probably assumed as far as like how your builds go, but to see kind of like the step-by-step process, like for one, the idea of a positive and negative mold. Um, you hear like there's some kind of mold and you picture almost like I don't know, like one of those Play-Doh molds or something that you just fill up, press in, and boom, it's done. It's cool to see that there's quite a bit more that goes into it than that.
That's a bit more complex. We were thinking of creating like a cheaper series of guitars with like injection molds. This is what China does. Like they inject plastic into molds and they create all sort of toys and stuff. But that would be like a single piece instrument. So that's not gonna work for us because we don't have any control over the weight. We don't have any control over the um, yeah, there's absolutely no control to this process. It's always the same, but on the other hand, we have to use like one component. So it's gonna be a plastic guitar because well, we've had that a lot back in the day that we create plastic guitars because it's epoxy resin involved, right? But on the other hand, this is why we call them composite guitars because composite is more than one material, right? We use carbon fiber, we use epoxy resin, and we use epoxy resin with fillers. So we have like a bit more complex build in general, and tone wise, playability wise, and whatever wise you can think of in terms of like guitar building. Me personally, I think those are superior instruments. I really love the way they feel. I love the way they play. I'm an owner of two pieces. I got them for myself because I really wanted to have like my own guitars as well. And honestly, I've sold all my other guitars.
Wow.
I never had like an urge to. Like, I've stopped buying guitars when I started working here. Like I was amazed with this process. I was amazed with the opportunities it gives us, and honestly, there is absolutely nothing we can't do when it comes down to like creating something crazy uh, on your guitar. I've sent you my rig yesterday,
Yeah.
so you've seen my guitars, but you haven't seen them in details. So I'll let myself go downstairs because my rehearsal room is right over here, and I just want to show you something cool.
Okay. Uh,
Oh,
which I
sorry.
believe it should be up. But anybody watching this video, the rig submission in question is definitely up, and it was pretty awesome. Excited to see
Oh
it.
yeah.
We're close up.
So I'm
There.
gonna start with a
Okay.
yeah, because I forgot there's my mixing console in here and it switched to the Wi-Fi immediately and it has no
Oh,
internet access. Okay, so back to the topic. This is a
yeah.
carbon fiber with a camo over it, right? Um, single EMG 81 humbucker, single volume knob, Evertune bridge, and this is the boring one because there is nothing crazy going on, right? The
Mhm.
craziest thing we do, we add those nuts from GraphTech. Those are the nuts they created for tremolo systems.
Mhm.
So they don't involve any locking screws on top of it. The only thing you lock is basically the locking tuner.
Mhm.
And I actually have the other guitar with this So I have a Schaller Lockmeister bridge on it, and the tremolo is not locked, and that's because it's locked on the tuners, and it's working perfectly fine for me, which I really dig because I can tune my guitar with tuners instead of the micro tuners, which is
Sure.
super comfortable. But back to the crazy stuff. I'm gonna put it in the ground, so I'm gonna explain you a bit more about it. This was also my idea because this was created for my band. The engraving here is our emblem. It's also here on the 12th fret, some uh, reversed crosses because I'm a big child.
Hmm.
But the guitar itself was the purpose of creating it was basically about making it more unique, like switching the idea of painting the guitar entirely, doing something that's nobody doing. This one, I wanted to make it look like an old grave, like the grave in the forest when you are leaving it for like 100 years and it's covered with moss and stuff, like a mushy old grave. And to achieve this particular look, this guitar was covered with real concrete.
No kidding.
So yeah, the top layer is cement, and it was painted with some sort of wood stains. I think it was like a spirit wood stain, and then it was covered with clear coat of flat finish. And it's in detail, you can feel the texture of it. It feels like a concrete. It feels like a stone. It's actually cold. But the back of the guitar, you can tell it's carbon fiber because it's carbon fiber. So,
Oh my God.
uh, and I'm really hoping that this instrument explains what I meant by no limits.
No, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Concrete.
So no limits to the finish. The only limitation you have when ordering a guitar from us is the amount of cash you have on you,
Right.
because we can do absolutely whatever you like, and that's gonna be it. There's nothing we can't do really. We've
Yeah. It's insanely impressive what you guys are capable of. I've been extremely fascinated here lately, as we kind of mentioned in messages back and forth. There's only really a handful of brands out there doing like carbon fiber or composite materials as an alternative to wood. Wow.
This is sorry I interrupted you that way, but this is something I wanted to tell you about because this was a guitar that we've made for NAMM show this year, and it's surprising how it triggers people when you do stuff like that. Like nobody really understands the idea behind this artistic paint job. And there were people who were upset that we were trying to sell it for 4 grand, and I was like, yeah, but it's like a great functional guitar. It was just an artist approach of creating a unique paint job over it, and
Oh,
I think we nailed it too.
that's fucking hilarious. It's like what? It's just a dog. It's just a collection of dog bones. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like half of it.
oh my God, that is one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. Um,
Yeah, the distance is the key. Like there's so many guitar companies in the industry that are trying to be artificially correct. Like everyone's trying to be super important guitar building factory, and we can't let ourselves do stupid stuff. And here we are, like bunch of idiots creating guitars, having fun, selling them to people.
well, I absolutely back it. And I mean, not to take away from any of the other brands because I've seen them do some pretty cool, pretty impressive stuff, but I don't think I've seen anybody use concrete and go to some of the lengths that you guys have. Um, which I mean, even the quote unquote base models are still incredibly impressive, and frankly, I'm pretty sure spec'd out how most people would spec out a custom anyway. Um,
There's quite a sense for that. Hip shot's not really that popular between guitar builders anymore. It has had its glory back in the day. I remember like 10 to 15 years ago, every single guitar manufacturer in the world was using hip shot. And I can't blame them because this is a great quality hardware for guitars. And on the other hand, it's also available, like hip shots providing real quick, real fast. So this is high quality equipment. We are putting on the base price models, and we're just trying to give you as much quality as possible for as little money as it takes for us to have it comfortable, earning wise.
gotcha. Uh,
Yeah.
Personally, love hip shot. I only have one like custom instrument, and I went with all hip shot hardware myself. Um, and love Duncan's. Nazgul Sentient. I had that on a seven string forever. Great pickup set. Um, and like you obviously showed, sky's are the limit. One thing I was thinking about even before this interview or tour, whatever you want to call it, I was like, man, these things must be so stable, like so little maintenance to them. Uh, I was like, I bet if you got one with an Evertune,
Mhm.
you would almost forget how to set up a guitar, how to maintain a guitar because they're
Uh,
probably so easy.
so I'll answer it with two different approaches, if you let me. First of all, yes, if you're like a bedroom guitar player, you can easily forget how to set up your instrument when you get one of those because basically they are super durable. If they have like a fixed environment, there's nothing that's gonna be wrong with them. Uh, the only thing that the composite guitars hate is direct heat, like a lot of direct heat. If it's super hot, like we had an issue with one or two guitars when they were left in car during a hot day because it basically turns into the oven, and there was some geometry that was messed up.
Hmm.
And that's one approach that you can be a bedroom player with fixed environment and everything is gonna be comfortable here. Um, there is a second approach of me as of us as a guitar builders, of the guitar creators, which is basically an approach of not being an idiot. Like, don't try to fool yourself that someone's telling you that something's like indestructible. This is what I've shown you before in the section when we were trying to break the neck. It is possible to break the neck. It is possible to fuck up the intonation. It is possible to bend a neck with your daily basis or like not proper maintenance to an instrument. You have to be aware of every single aspect of your life can kind of work on the sustainability of your instrument. Like you can break a carbon fiber guitar if you're not paying attention to it. If you're gonna drop it under a car, it's probably gonna pop off the fretboard of it. So don't drop your guitars under the car. I know in US there is a lot of labels that say obvious things like don't do not put your child in a microwave. So do not throw the guitar under a car because it's not gonna make any good to it. But on the other hand, people who can appreciate the amount of ideas we put in those instruments, all the stuff that's making it easier for guitar players. For example, because I didn't show it to you because you haven't seen any of those guitars in person, right? So we
Correct.
have this idea here, which is a magnetic plate. You can remove it at with move of your hand, and everything's in like direct eyesight. So it's super easy to fix. It's super easy to connect. if there is anything that happens to your electronics or whatever, it's super easy to have access to it and to fix it without taking it all apart.
Hmm.
No screws that are getting lost or whatever. It's super stable. You can't drop it playing the guitar. You can't drop it transporting the guitar. The only thing you can break in this guitar is the string, like
Sure.
with the daily usage.
Right.
So uh, as I've mentioned, try not to be stupid and don't let anyone fool you, because we that's why we put a trust rod in it. If anything changes, like you leave it in too hot, or you leave it in too cold, they are not really responsive to humidity. So that's cool for the guitar, right? Acoustic guitars hate low humidity, and they hate to be over humidified. The 55% of humidity in the air is something that acoustic guitars love. But those guitars don't crack; they don't bend because the room's too humid, right? Uh, but the temperature is a key to having a perfectly set up instrument. And unlike the wooden guitars, you do it once in a while and you don't really have to worry about it. So they are perfect for touring. We have a lot of touring musicians that are using those guitars nowadays. Uh, for the biggest challenge we had was creating the guitars for Power. These guys are German heavy metal band,
Hmm.
and they are like growing bigger and bigger. They are like stadium sized band today, and honestly, they use fire on stage, and they use like excessive amount of fire on stage. They use Everton Bridge, obviously, but they wanted to have the super stable instrument, and well, when there's fire involved, even Everton Bridge can get crazy because there is a lot of direct heat coming to the instrument,
Sure.
and it can bend any instrument in the world, right? They used to have Ramos guitars, German company, and uh, and they were fine. So we weren't really scared of making any other guitars. But we've made a V's with Everton Bridge, and they are being used for about a year now by the band. They flew first thing they've done. They flew to US with them. So there was like a transportation. There was a different condition on the plane, different condition in the US than the entire touring stuff, moving them back and forward, etc., etc. So that's pretty much quite a lot of stuff going on to a brand new instrument that's going on tour. And these guys had huge impact on what we were doing because the amount of information you get from a band
Hmm.
that's touring, that's using the guitars live, is absolutely ridiculous for a guitar builder. Like for us, there's so many aspects that we didn't think of in the beginning. Even the strap lock placements, we had to do plenty of tests after selling the guitars to people,
Hmm.
because like Glenn Fricker recorded a video that he had a huge neck drop on a V, and we were like, yeah, but we didn't have it when it was here. And apparently people give us the feedback that we wouldn't predict, because me normally I use like a 4-inch strap, like this
Yeah.
wide, and I never had a problem with neck dive on my guitar. But then someone's using like strap this thin, like an inch and a half. They hung
Yeah.
it on their shoulder, and the guitar immediately drops to the floor.
Mm.
And that's something you don't really expect to happen when sell guitar to people. We fixed that issue immediately after Glenn sent the video, uh, but that's something you can't predict.
Yeah.
And also that's why I mentioned feedback from bands, because bands are doing things to the guitars uh, you never thought might happen, like uh, putting them close to a fire source, or I don't know, drop them off stage. Like I don't remember. Have you seen this famous Abbat Fall video?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, I have
so
seen
that
that
was
one.
that was my first show with him
Oh,
ever. I was guitar tech for that show, and I haven't seen it like in person because I
yeah.
was gathering the equipment off stage. Then I saw the video and I was like, Jesus! And that was the LTD instrument, and it survived. And that was surprising for me because he fell so hard to the ground that every regular guitar in the world should break, but
Right.
he didn't break the LTD. That was crazy. That was amazing.
Wow. You were talking about conditions and everything, and the first one I think of would be like Guar, who would be like just spraying liquid all over the instrument. But
I mean, that's some sort of the band. Like, I would love to work with the crazier the people, the better. So
sure.
I can let myself blow my fantasy all over their instruments, like because this is something what I do here. This is mostly my ideas uh, with the finishes and stuff, and like my number one dream guitar player to work with, to create a guitar for him, even if he's not gonna be our endorsee or whatever. I would love to create a guitar for Wes Borland.
Oh, that would be cool. I bet he'd come up with
Oh,
something crazy.
I I feel like he can beat me with the ideas. But on the other hand, I would love to make a surprise guitar for him. Like, he's
Mm.
he's like, okay, you guys make me a guitar. I'm gonna play a show with it, and I'm like, okay, hold my beer. I'm gonna fix it, and that would be crazy. Like Wes Borland, John Five, all these people with crazy guitars I've seen before. I would love to work with them just for an instance, like just for creating something unique. That would be something amazing. And it's not about the exposure. It's not something I'm dying for. Like, I don't want to be like when I'm lacking a word here. Like, I don't want to be like a TV whore for attention. I don't want to gather. I don't want to gather the attention from building the guitar for them. I just love to do it as some sort of challenge, like trying my own imagination, compared to the greatest minds of all time coming up with this crazy stuff. Like, well, Wes Borland's ideas for stage costume, his stage outfits and stuff, man, I would die for creating a guitar that matches it. Like, he sends me his newest costume, and I'm just diving for it. Like, that'd be stupid crazy.
It's like, hey, can you laminate some feathers into the guitar to match the feather coat
Sure,
I'm going to
of
be
course,
wearing? And just
of
something
course.
ridiculous.
Something that we haven't done in the past yet. I was thinking of like a peacock feathers all over the guitars because they are huge, but
Sure.
they are crazy expensive.
Mm,
Like, like crazy expensive. Like, it's like a $10 a piece.
really?
So that'd be a pricey cover, but it has to happen eventually. It's probably gonna be like an artist build or stock build or whatever, but I'm gonna do it.
Peacock top. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, well, I was thinking of like carpet top. Like the
Oh
Turkish
yeah.
carpets. I would love to do it at some point. It has to happen.
I love it. The imagination's just kind of like running wild with different things that you could laminate. Um, but
Yes, that's
you've
that's
already,
that's basically how it works. People are not really crazy with this idea. Like, everybody's trying to be conservative with the designs. There's not a lot of customers who are brave enough to, like, laminate crazy stuff in the guitars. And we are trying to convince them that it's superb to create something unique because people are afraid that they can't resell the instrument. You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah. Which I mean,
Like,
that's a weird mindset to go into buying an instrument, but you know,
well, let's start from the very beginning. we are a company that exists for 4 years now. Like, we've started 2021. Uh, this room I'm currently seeing at, which is our showroom right now, showroom slash conference room, I
Hmm.
used to be like it had sawdust on the walls and it was super dirty. And this was like, this was the main room for creating the guitars here, because we were starting, like with the wooden prototypes and stuff. And for past 4 years, changed so much in our approach to the instruments. They've changed so much in our idea of creating an instrument. That's It's actually crazy how much can change in such a short period. But on the other hand, if I was a customer, and I'd be down for paying for a guitar, and I'd be looking for like a free $4,000 range instrument, I'd also be super secure about buying an instrument that I don't know if I'm gonna like or not,
Yeah,
especially for a company that exists for such short period. Uh, it's well, I'm looking for a good term. Like, is it safe to buy instruments that you don't know the resale value?
sure.
It's a interesting approach to buying an instrument, because I for most of my life I was really buying used instruments, like everything you've seen downstairs except for my guitars, which were built brand new. Everything was secondhand.
Gotcha.
I buy everything secondhand because it's cheaper. And if you buy something secondhand, you will sell it for the same value you bought it for. But what about buying a guitar for $4,000 and then selling it for 2,500?
Yeah,
Uh, it's huge loss of the money for something you're not sure of. But with us, it's actually cool question, because with us it's mostly the same situation over and over again. Someone's buying a guitar from us because they want to be like super safe, because it's pricey. They get it like from Reverb or from our webpage or whatever, and then 10 days later we get another email asking if we can sell them another one.
wow.
Because people, when they have money, like our record right now, we are building guitar number 7 for a guy in Canada. This is like the biggest amount of guitars that someone owns from us. 7 instruments bought in a period of 12 months.
Jesus, must be nice.
Like, people can get crazy over those. And I can relate to that because I am crazy too. I can't afford to get more. But if I'd be a millionaire, I'd probably be buying them all the time.
For sure. Um,
You're a gear freak, like you share other people's rigs, so you know how it is. Like, you know how it is to get obsessed over something and constantly get new and new stuff.
oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny. I've always had like a little bit of a collector mentality anyway. So instruments was a terrible, terrible choice. But it's a lot of fun too, you know?
If you stick to one brand, it's always cool. I have a friend who's collecting old school BC Rich guitars, and he has over 40 of those.
Oh wow.
The only problem with collecting guitars is that you have to keep in mind that you need a separate space for the cases.
Mm. Gotcha.
I've never seen a collector who thought it through when they were getting like 70 guitars, and apparently they are sleeping on the pile of guitar cases because they have no place to put them.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that number, but behind like that big Rigs of Death Metal flag, I've got a ton of cases that I'm running out of room for very quickly. But okay. I'm trying to think if there's really any other questions, but I mean, you're very thorough with the tour. Um, I am a little curious to hear about Infernal Flame, about your band though. If
Oh,
you
so we're gonna connect those two topics.
Well, I was after we started talking, I was jamming the album like pretty much
Yeah.
the rest of yesterday. So now I just kind of want to hear like what do you guys have going on? Like, because it's kind of new for me. So, are you
It's
guys
kind of new for me too. That's what funny.
okay?
Because my last band that I was playing with was we split apart about 7 years ago,
Mhm.
and for that time I was touring with bands. I was working here for past 4 years. I was gathering experience. I'm also a guitar tech for like pop acts and stuff. And I was always witnessing people play instruments live, and that I was looking envious for them. Like I'm hoping that I'm gonna get back on stage soon because that was such a long time ago. I don't remember how it feels, and the band itself was formed by a friend of mine, and it was like his 40th birthday present for himself. That he was like, for the half of my life, let's call it half of his life, because we never know how long we're gonna live. But for the 40th birthday, he wanted to record himself an album that's gonna be like a monument of his existence. I know it sounds super cringy when we're talking about it like face to face, but when you are talking with a guy who's reaching some certain level of growing up, uh, those are the feelings that are like somewhere in the back of your head all the time. And I can't relate to that because I'm way younger than he is, but I understand that he's got these certain feelings in him that were leading him to record some melancholic black metal with 240 BPM blast beats, and that's something that we never really thought that we're gonna be trying to uh, do as a gig, as a part of our lives. It was the idea was to create an album that's gonna be like we're gonna post it online and we're gonna forget about it. But then we found people to play live, and we are rehearsing all the time. We would love to get on stage this year, so uh, that's something cool that you can. Everything I'm doing in life, work wise, leads me to play guitar live. Like for past almost past 10 years, I was leading myself to get back on the track, and that's pretty upsetting that it never happened before. But on the other hand, I'm super excited for doing it right now. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah. Um, any plans to ever come to the States, you think, or is that just too far ahead?
Dude, honestly, I would love to do it. Like, if there is anyone who wants to bring unknown Polish black metal band to tour US, I'm down for it. Like 24/7. I love touring US. I've actually been on tour in US. Like I haven't ever done a proper tour with any band, even as a tech. Uh, I've done like single shows. I used to be a guitar tech for this Orthodox black metal band Batushka. I don't know if you've
Oh
heard
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Yeah, so I've been in States with them. I remember we've done like a Psycho Las Vegas festival in
Mhm.
Hard Rock Hotel. That was something crazy. Like Danzig was a headliner. We were the opener. They didn't want us to do a line check prior to the show, and we couldn't do it without line check because we were using in-ear monitors, and that was madness. But that was not a proper US tour because we were flying from gig to gig, and it was like a week and a half, and then we came back home. So that was something that didn't give me the full experience of touring US, and I would love to do it. Like, if there's gonna be anyone who's gonna allow us to fly to the US and tour US, we're down for that. But we have to start small, like
Sure.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool to do a US show. I'm not even saying both tours. Do one US show to play on the US soil.
And
So it's always like a peak of my year is going to NAMM show because I can spend a week in
oh
US. It's like it's empowering. Every single musician around you, the equipment you can see, everything that when you are living in a smaller country. Right now, it's like the global village that's happening. Everything's in the sight. But on the other hand, back in the day when I was like, teenager, when you wanted to get yourself a US Stratocaster, you had to buy it from eBay. It was
Mhm.
no possibility to get it here.
Gotcha. I'm a little jealous. I haven't got to go to NAM yet. I've had some builder friends invite me as a guest and even like split hotel costs and things like that. But um I'm trying to hold out and wait for them to bring back the one in Nashville because that I could actually just drive to. The one in
Okay.
California is a little bit, it'd be a little bit of an expensive trip for me, but
I can relate to that because we are spending a lot of money to exhibit in there. So you can
sure.
imagine if it's expensive for you as a person
Yeah.
to fly there, spend a week in there, because NAM is 3 days. So even if it's expensive for 3 days, hotel wise, trip
Hmm.
wise, and stuff, can you imagine how expensive it is for us to plan it prior to the show, like a year ahead? Prepare all the guitars, buy all the equipment we need. We even have a booth that's like aluminum beams, and we've bought that cash, and that's quite a lot of expense you have to spend to even have a booth for
Right.
NAM show. And then you have a booth, and what next? You have to pay for the space, right? It's super pricey to be there, but on the other hand, it's something that this guitar business is not existing without.
Sure. No, that
Like
makes sense.
if you want to be a part of the industry, you have to show up to NAM show at least a couple of times. This is what we feel like. Before NAM show, nobody heard of us.
Gotcha.
We had no audience, we had no sales. Like flying to NAM show gives you the opportunity to meet people, to give people, especially people in America,
Hmm.
to give them the opportunity to try on instruments, to find out if they are worthy spending the money.
Yeah. Which I think
That's
that's how I first saw you guys was like somebody's YouTube video covering NAM. Would have, I
mhm.
guess, were you guys there in 21 and 22 or it was somewhere around?
20, 21 was networking.
Okay.
21 was the first NAM show we've done. It was my CEO and one of my colleagues, and they had like one yellow Schrodinger guitar, and they were
Yeah.
walking around with it in the gig bag, and they were showing it to people. And it also gave us a lot of exposure. So that was worth the trip. But then 2022, oh man, that was something really, really important. Like that was something we had to do.
Gotcha. I must have been the first one. Because the first thing I saw was definitely you guys had a booth and everything. So it must have been the 22 NAM that I'd seen a video
Or
from.
actually, I probably mixed up the dates. The 22 was networking. 23 was the first NAM show that
Oh,
we've
okay.
done, like the regular one. Then 24, 25 were the ones that we had like the bigger booth. So the first one was 2022 was the first year that we had like a regular booth.
Gotcha.
No, 23 was regular booth. 22 was networking. My
Okay.
memory is fucked up. But yeah, so 2023 we had the booth, which is also a crazy story because our booth was lost. Uh, we had like a backdrop and few guitars lying around on the Hercules stands because the entire booth we've ordered for that show was lost in the transit,
Hmm.
and they've only sent us like few parts of it, but the most of the booth because we had like a huge tent that we wanted to put as a part of the exhibition, and it was gone, and they've never found it. Like it's
That
completely
sucks.
lost for the past 3 years.
That's
Nobody knows what happens to it.
um that first off that blows. It reminds me of I don't know if you know Sully Guitars, but they had a custom instrument stolen from NAM this past year.
Seen it. I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah, huge bummer. But
Well, last year we've been to NAM show. I don't want to talk shit because that nobody. I don't feel like it's anybody's fault. But we left our quad cortex on at our booth,
mhm.
and it got stolen.
No, God,
Yeah,
sucks.
January 2000, January or March last year, 2024. We left the quad cortex device, and it was stolen. We filled the police report, and apparently there is no surveillance or whatever. They couldn't even track down who did that. So you pay a lot of money and you're not even able to see if anybody took your stuff or not. There's a lot of people who are like, having locked booths. Like, for example, the guys for we had a neighbor who had like a huge trailer,
Yeah.
and it had a lock on it. So all the equipment they had, they put in the trailer, closed it, and went back hotel.
Hmm.
So nobody takes it. With the guitars, it's harder because, well, it's super hard to sell a custom guitar. So whoever stole the guitar this year, they're gonna have the hard time to get rid of it
Yeah. Yeah,
because it
exactly.
was super customized. So you can't sell a $20,000 guitar just like that if it was
Yeah.
stolen. They're gonna have a lot of problems with that. But yeah, it sucks because you have to be extra careful. You can't leave your stuff like lying around.
And I'm sure Nam doesn't accept any kind of responsibility for that whatsoever.
I, that's what I mentioned in the beginning. I don't want to talk shit because I have no clue about it. Like, the only problem we had was that we failed the police report,
Yeah.
and it led us nowhere.
That's a bummer.
It's super cool that we are in good relations with neural people, and they let us use their other quad cortex device because they had like
Awesome.
a marketing device that they could have borrowed us. Uh, but it sucks that the one we had was stolen. That's something that shouldn't happen. Like, you want to feel extra safe when you spend a lot of money to be somewhere, and then something gets lost, and well, what can you do about it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame Nam, I don't blame Freeman, I don't blame anyone. It's just a matter of fact that it was stolen and nobody could do shit about it. That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's definitely frustrating.
Yeah.
Um, wanted to also give a shout out to Mateus from Blind Dead. Uh,
Oh.
I say he was such an avid and outspoken representative for your brand. That's what really kind of made me like pay extra close attention. I was like, man, he's got some really sick guitars. He's really all about this. It was the first I think he was the first like band or, anybody music related that was on my radar. Like I knew who he was and his his word carried a little bit of weight with me. I was like, okay, so because I was always a huge Behemoth fan for
Hmm.
years. So I was like, okay, if he fucks with them, then there's something here. And then I really started paying attention and just kind of again, haven't been fortunate enough to try one, but have fallen in love from a distance. So
I
shout out.
really hope you're gonna have a chance to see the guitar in person. But regarding Mateusz and his appearance, Uh, he's a really great guitar player. He's like a great colleague of mine because we've shared a lot of work back in the day. Because he's been like he's also a guitar tech, and I was his fill in for some shows he couldn't do. For example, the show with Abad we've mentioned before, I was doing it for him because that day he was doing Bloodbath, and we were at the same stage. He was just
Yeah,
setting up the other equipment. Sick guitar player, sick equipment, sick ideas, and indeed, the design of a guitar that we've done for him, the last one, the one that was based over his album cover, that was a challenge because first idea he had was completely reversed colors. So he wanted like a carbon fiber guitar with this painted strip in the middle, and I was like, hey, I do it opposite way. I also wanted to involve like this skull that they have on the cover, but
mhm,
he was feeling it's gonna be too much, and we came up with a great design, an amazing instrument, something's unique, and that's something that we really dig as a like uh, as a full part, as a
yeah,
whole piece. And also, I've had a feedback from people who played that guitar, because it's always different with artists. Like, they give you great feedback, like, oh yeah, the guitar is awesome, it works great during live shows, etc., etc. But there's also people who play their guitars offhand, like, hey, grab my guitar, play it. Do you like it? And I had a friend of mine who's been interviewing me past last week, I guess. Um, or 2 weeks ago, and he told me that he played that guitar, and he was like, "Holy shit, how did you do that?" And I was like, in shock because I didn't know what he meant. Like, what do you mean? How did we do what? And he's like, I had your guitar for a couple of weeks because we've borrowed him a guitar for like the test ride, and he's like, it's so much different. And I was like, yeah, but in what sense? Like playing wise, ability is different. No, no, like tone wise, it's so much different. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the preference of the user. This is what's different in the guitars, like between each other. He's using a different set of strings. He's using different tunings. He's using different pickups. Even the brand of strings has matter to the tone. And even if you are both using like 1060s,
Hmm.
you've one of you has irony balls, the other one has a Dadarios. They have different cores, they have different material of the winding and stuff, uh, and it gives you completely different feedback. And the guy was in shock that two guitars made from the same mold that were exactly the same in specs can sound completely different. And I was like, yeah, but this is what happens in the old school guitar world. That even if you have the exact same set of Stratocasters, they can be completely different to each other when you start to deassemble them.
Hmm.
And this is the tonal difference. There's also the material that's involved, right?
Yeah.
Because there's this stuff called tone wood. Uh, what we do, Raphane, is basically the imitation of tone wood. It gives you the density of the guitar. It adds the weight to it. It gives you the tonal possibilities of wood, but with more sturdy solution. Like it's a bit less responsive to humidity, to the environment and stuff.
Hmm.
But it's still like when you try to knock it, well, you can't hear it. I'm on noise canceling, but when you try to knock it, it still feeds back from the body. You can hear when you knock it. It's harder, but it's like more ringy. Uh, and people are digging it. People are digging this solution. They dig the idea of having the guitar that's hard to bend,
Yeah.
that's hard to break, that's more durable. There is a lot of people who are ordering the guitars just from that experience, who want something extra.
Yeah.
And of course, there's gonna be a huge amount of people who hate the guitars that are not made with wood.
Hmm.
And we don't mind, really. I have wooden guitars. I still have plenty. My boss is a collector. He's getting rid of some of his guitars right now, but I think in the critical moment he had like 40 guitars,
Oh,
six
wow.
acoustics, and he loves wooden guitars. He's not like a maniac. Yeah, wood doesn't sound good. Let's go carbon fiber. No, we all love wood. It's just a different approach. It's a bit more modern approach to building guitars, and honestly, it's working. So I'm really hoping you're gonna have a chance to play it. I'm really hoping you're gonna get in touch with Sean and you're gonna see the guitar he has, because
Uh,
his guitar is pretty unique.
me and him actually did chat a little bit about that yesterday. He is going to be
Yeah,
uh, sending that out a bit. So anybody
perfect.
watching this, there will be a Rigs of Death Metal RUF Guitars demo in the future. And who knows, it might convince me I got to sell off a few and get one, you know? But
We can talk about it.
sure. But
We're gonna have to redo that interview again.
um but man, I want to thank you so much for your time and showing us around. I hope this has informed a lot of people. I know it's kind of a to I'd say probably a lot of the guitar world. It's a very unique approach, and I'm sure this has been very informative. And who knows? Hopefully, it sways a bunch more people that are looking for their new instrument, or maybe they're interested, just been a little bit hesitant. Is there anything else you want to mention before we hop off here? Anything you want to plug or just say to potential customers or potential listeners for Infernal Flame?
Yes, so I would also love to thank you for having me here, and that was a real pleasure to show you around and to talk about well, not only guitars but also mentioning my private stuff, my band, and my equipment. That's also cool to have. Uh, if anyone's interested in getting in touch with us, you're gonna have a chance to like speak with me directly. Uh, we are really happy to work with the customers, and it's always a pleasure to fulfill someone's dreams, especially when you have like even if that's a blurred vision of what you are dreaming of. We would love to dig that out of you and find out what's the coolest part of the instrument you're thinking of. We can always give you some ideas. We can. You don't even have to have an idea. We're gonna do like an interview. We're gonna find out what's your favorite stuff, and we would love to help. Like this is something we really love to do, and if anybody is interested in that, we are hoping that you're gonna reach us out. We can always figure something out for you. And well, follow Rig or Rigs of Death Metal. Follow us, and I hope that we're gonna see each other in the future.
Absolutely. I gotta make Nam one of these days.
You can be our guest too. Like this invitation is official. Everybody has heard it. If you wanna go to NAM show, be our guest.
Uh, very, very much appreciate that. Thank you, man. And yeah, thank you again for taking the time. And thank you all for watching. We will see you next time. Peace.